You don't think it can be an hour? Okay. Hello?
Yeah, I am.
All right, hold on. Let me. All right, you could hear me?
I get it.
All right, so I guess we could, like the old people say, let's get started. All right, so Ebonique, I'm ready. So you could ask me what you need to ask me.
Okay, so can you introduce yourself to me first and your
All right, so my name is Ethan Quant. What do you need? Does it?
Pardon?
You say just introduce myself?
Yeah, just introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Ethan Quant.
Okay. Tell me about your position.
All right, so I am the founder and CEO of Lifestyles Digital Media Group. We are a corporate communications and strategic content partner. And so, in my role, I'm responsible for the day to day activities of the company, as well as the overall and overarching strategy and vision of the company as well.
Okay. What inspired you to pursue a career in marketing?
Well, what inspired me to pursue a career in marketing? I always just thought it was such a cool thing. I remember I used to watch a lot of movies growing up in the 80s and early 90s, and it was like a good cross between somebody like a banker or whatever and just somebody who could come up with ideas. I really loved the whole process of coming up with an idea, putting a plan in place, and watching it execute. And so I studied marketing at COB and lost my way for a while in terms of I went into the bank, I did all these other things, and then eventually found myself back into my firm. And so even though it isn't just a full-fledged marketing firm, marketing is a large part of what it is that we actually do.
Okay. How has your career progressed since you first started?
Well, so at first, this used to be essentially a side hustle. I used to do it alongside my other business. And then, honestly, once COVID hit, and so I started a company in 2019, did it as a side hustle. Once COVID hit, my main business pretty much came to a standstill. And then Lifestyles really took the forefront. And that's when I really started doing a lot of content and strategic marketing and communications. And I found that companies, because everything was closed down and everything went virtual, companies needed more ways to get their message across, and their digital presence was important, so they had to grow. So that was really what drove me to kind of start taking it a lot seriously and make it my primary business. And then even as the country opened back up, post-COVID, it was like I really enjoyed helping companies get their message in the front of the right audience and really helping them to use strategic content to share their message and reach their target audience. And so it's something that I love doing, and I get to really help make the world a better place by helping companies help the customers that they serve.
question, but the name on my list is question.
Okay,
That's fine.
that's fine.
Why did you choose like do other degrees before you got your master's degree?
Say that one more time. If I did what?
And you have a degree in marketing, correct?
Well, I have an associate's in marketing. So I actually dropped out of college before I got my bachelor's.
That's interesting. Your third time similar to my mom's one.
Yeah.
But why did you use it as a side hustle instead? I mean, before you went and pursued it full time.
Well, so my first business, or my primary business at the time, was a employee wellness consulting firm. And I needed, based on the companies that we were working with, we would do like employee wellness programs. So like health education, on-site workouts, meal planning, Biggest Loser competition, stuff like that. And so we work with these organizations, but we needed a way to promote the programs that we were running to the employees themselves. So if you think about mega, like Atlantis was a client, BTC at the time was a client. So if you think of these major companies with hundreds of employees, we needed an avenue to market and promote the wellness programming that we were getting ready to launch, right? So that we could have active participation. And so I started Lifestyles as an internal marketing and content creation company so that I could promote the wellness programming. And then also I did it I did it so that I could offer media and content. So like I could do like highlight reels, testimonials and stuff as an added package for the companies that I was working with. And so instead of them now bringing in somebody else to do photo and video to document their wellness programs, I was able now to offer that as an add-on to the wellness program. So you buy the wellness program, and then for a couple hundred or a couple $1,000, you could also buy the media package, which is essentially me just taking my camera.
Okay. What challenges have you faced during your marketing career?
Challenges. Hold on 1 sec, Ebony. I gotta get something else. Run the back here. Okay, so ask me that question again, please.
Question was, what challenges have you faced during your marketing career?
Challenges. Well, I mean, one of the biggest challenges that I faced early on was just getting clients, right? Like actually, as a new person in the space, just trying to get new clients, to get them to know who about me, what it is, and then to get them to trust me, which essentially means that I had to market myself, right? And so if I couldn't get myself clients, then how could I get my clients clients? And so I really just used my own company, and it's something that I still do today. I really just use my own company as sort of the guinea pig to test theories and to see how I can do certain things. And so that was one of the major challenges. First, just getting started and getting momentum. The next challenge that I had was really just making that transition from a one-man band. So like being, this one person that does all this stuff to now building out a team, right? So, going from a desk in my living room to now over a 2,000 square foot space where I have a studio and office and 12 team members, like that was then my next biggest challenge and continues to be my challenge. Just not even finding, but just continuing to build out the team and level up as a leader so that I could attract the best quality people to the team.
Right. So it's still difficult for you now then.
Yeah, business in and of itself is difficult. I think I've just gotten a lot better. It's just different challenges, right? Like before, where it was me trying to get new customers, that's always something that I'm going to try and do, but that isn't a challenge. Like me, getting customers to trust. Like I have this track record, we've been around for 7 years. I know what to do, but now another challenge is, like I said, building out the team and then sharing that information so that we can ensure that the quality standards are maintained. And so that's ongoing challenges that I actually face. But business in and of itself is a series of different challenges. And so as an entrepreneur, especially somebody in the marketing space, like our whole job is to really solve problems for our clients. They're coming to us for marketing and communications for some reason, right? It may be because they're new and they need people to know about their product or service. It may be to communicate and navigate some negative press. It may be to recruit and hire new team members. So marketing at its core is built on really solving problems and overcoming challenges.
Okay. The next question is, what achievements are you most proud of as a marketer?
I think the achievements that I'm most proud of as a marketer is really just hearing my clients say they achieved what it is that they achieved and we exceeded their expectations. Like that's always the goal. Like we have a saying that excellence is the standard here at Lifestyles. And so for me, when I know that we've been able to help a client achieve what they set out to achieve and exceed their expectations and show up and execute with excellence, that's always the thing that I'm most proud of. And then building out a team that understands and shares my vision and really lives up to the standard of excellence.
What product or service does your company offers?
And so the services that we offer is primarily corporate communications. What that means is it's a full range of so the service that we offer is corporate communications and strategic content. And so essentially what that means is that we use content, so things like film, photography, video, voice, to help our corporate clients get their message out into the market. And we use a framework. It's a proprietary framework called CAD. It's the CAD Communications Framework. And CAD is really an acronym for Core Positioning, Authority, and Trust and Demonstrating. And so essentially that's the main thing that we sell. We work with companies who want and need to establish and build trust at scale very quickly. And we do that through our proprietary CAD framework.
So who would be your target? Who would you say is your target in marketing?
So our ideal client is a major corporation with 150 plus employees within the industry. The primary industries of banking and finance, healthcare, tourism, construction and infrastructure, telecommunications, and real estate development. And so those would be our ideal clients. And if you look at our client roster, they fall well within that. And part of the reason behind that is because we want to be able to not just help with communications and strategic content for external purposes, so for things like marketing, but also for internal purposes to make sure that everyone within the organization is aligned. They know what the mission is, they know what the vision is, they know what the core positioning of the entity is, and also assist with the dissemination of information throughout the organization. So companies that are large enough to warrant that, like I said, companies in those industries with at least 150 plus employees would be our ideal client.
And what marketing strategy do you use most often?
Well, the strategy that we use most often for our clients is our proprietary CAD framework. It's our CAD communications framework. And like I said, it's essentially when an organization comes to us, we filter it and we do an analysis based on CAD, because we find that most companies actually don't have a marketing problem. They have a communications problem. They aren't effectively and consistently communicating their value, whether it's to the market or to the internally to the team members. And so one of the first things we do is we run them through what we call our CAD transformational framework. And that's essentially where we determine exactly where they are, how effectively they're currently communicating. And then through core positioning, authority and trust, and demonstrating, we determine the best course of action based on that. And so that's really what we do. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
It did. So, how important is your branding to the success of your business?
I mean, our branding is lifestyles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very important. We have a saying in the industry, brand is everything, right? And so, but a lot of people think that a brand is a logo or a tagline or even colors. That isn't what it is. A brand is really, your brand is your reputation. It's what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. And so, we pride ourselves on being professional, and our brand is really consistent of or as a direct reflection of our core values, which is Capri. And so we're customer centric, we have positive attitudes, we're professional, we're resourceful, we focus on intentional growth and improvement. And tying our brand directly to the core values is like we now, as a team and as a company, personify that in everything that we do. And so brand is very, very important, but brand is more about who you are, how you operate, what people say about you when you're not in the room versus the logo or the colors or the tagline that you have. And I think the quicker more people understand that brand and branding is more than just a logo or colors or a certain aesthetic, but it's really who you are at your core, the more effective they can communicate that value to the market.
Okay. How do you know if a marketing campaign has been successful?
Well, we know when a marketing campaign has been successful when we accomplish all of the metrics or when we hit all the metrics that we set in advance. And so typically when we work with a client, we ultimately collaboratively with the client define what does success look like. And so we don't just have this one broad-based definition of what success looks like. We actually have that broken down based on what the client's objectives are. And so if we can't say that a campaign has been successful if we first didn't define what success looks like, right? And so that's one of the first things that we do before we even start. Once we understand, okay, this is the primary objective, this is the thing that we're trying to accomplish, this is what we're trying to solve, then we say, okay, well, what does completed look like? What does 10 look like? What does success look like? And then once we have that defined, then we reverse engineer the steps and processes necessary to get us to success.
1 second. 120.
Okay.
Ito Manila. Last month sa Manila. Dito dyan. So, ito.
Okay. Another question will be,
See you right there. Hello.
what advice would you give a student who is studying marketing?
The advice that I would give a student who's studying marketing is really just focus on, like, once you get the basics, right? Like, once you get the technical knowledge down and you know how to do the thing, focus on really just adding value to the clients. Allow the clients to tell you exactly what their problem is, because most times clients know what their problem is, but they don't know how to get around it. And so approach your work with a sense and an attitude of service. How can I serve the client? Listen to the client, and then don't be afraid to experiment and have fun, but not at the client's expense. You do that on your own time, on your own dime, but just make sure that you put the client, their wants, needs in the forefront, and then approach each relationship as a collaboration. So it's a collaboration of experts. As a student, you're going to school so that you can become specialized and knowledgeable in marketing. And so you have that area of expertise and authority. But the client is an expert in their business. And so if you approach it from the fact that, okay, here are two experts coming together for the purpose of solving this problem that the client is having, I find that you would have a greater likelihood of success and longevity in the industry.
What skills do you think every marketing student should develop?
I think the skills that I think every marketing student should develop is the ability to listen. Like, just listen and ask really good questions.
Okay. What do you think is the future of marketing industry?
I think the future of the marketing industry, honestly, is going to be more personal branding and companies utilizing real people to tell real stories. I think marketing is going through a phase right now with the proliferation of AI generated content. Like, everybody's doing it, so the content is becoming the tools are becoming very accessible to people who may not have been able to do that before. But the challenge is that now you're generating so much AI generated content that everything is starting to look and sound the same. I think the future of marketing is really going to embrace the individual's voice and the individual as a person, but also the individual as a company. I think humans are going to forever long to connect and feel the human side of business. And so I think the future of marketing is actually going to be very bright, where we harness and highlight and really lean into the human element, storytelling, like the storytelling element, while using tools like AI to enhance that. But I think that's where the industry is going, because even now, like, you're hearing how tired people are seeing all these AI generated flyers and things like that. People want to make connections with people, and AI can't make human connections because AI isn't human. And so at its core, marketing is really about how do we connect with the people, the audience, the customers, or how do we help our clients connect with them in a big way. And so I think the future of marketing is going to focus on really amplifying that human connection through authentic stories. So real people, real stories is really where I think the the marketing industry is headed.
I have a personal question.
Uh-huh.
Like dealing with, like, you know how AI is coming about now. Do you think that AI will abuse the system of marketing instead of like increasing the improvement?
Well, I'll tell you this. All AI is a tool, right?
Mhm.
Just like a gun is a tool. You know, you got warlords you got murderers who use guns to kill. That same gun put in the hand of law enforcement can be used to protect.
Right.
The tool itself doesn't change. It's still a gun, but whose hand it's in determines what it's used for, right? And I think AI is very much the same. I think if put in the hands of somebody who knows how to use it, it could amplify, it could help. But I think what's happening is that because you still have all of these unskilled people who essentially are just now gaining access to this tool, that's why they aren't using it at the level that they could use it at. And you're seeing all this AI slop because everybody's using the same prompts, they're doing the same thing. But just like how you can give a sculptor who has years of sculpting experience a block of wood and he can sculpt a beautiful wood carved piece, you can give that same chunk of wood with even the same tools to somebody who doesn't, and they can put out trash. And so I am not concerned about AI putting out trash or AI abusing. I'm more concerned that people aren't going to take the time to really harness the power of AI and use it to the best of its ability. And they're only going to use it at a very limited capacity, which ultimately will result in low quality, low impact slop that we are currently seeing in the marketplace now.
So is there anything you would like to share with the students about working in marketing?
No, like I said, I think the two best skills, well, three top skills. Learn how to listen, learn how to ask really good questions, and learn how to sell. Because even as a marketing professional, you have to be able to sell and not sell products or services, but sell yourself. You have to be able to sell yourself in such a way that will enable people to know, like, and trust you. And then be able to transfer that knowledge and experience to the clients that you serve.
I have a question. So when you came out of college, first you was more of a hands-on learner, or you were more of you could read and practice, and you could, I don't know how to explain it. You can read, practice, and then you will be able to know what to do. Or you have to be shown how to do it in order to do it.
No, I figure stuff out myself. I learned through trial and error. I'm not very book smart. So I read very slowly. And so reading frustrates me. And if somebody shows me how to do it, until I am able to get my hands on it and do it myself, I won't really retain the knowledge. And so one of the things that I've been very good at is fucking up really, really fast. So I fail fast. So my thing is I'm not afraid to try something new and suck at it. But at the same time, I'm just going to practice and practice and practice until I get better. And I'm very critical of myself. And so once I do something, I always ask myself, okay, well, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? And because I'm of the impression, I'm of the belief that you can always make something, regardless of how good something is, it can always be better. And so the question is, how can I be better? And how can I make it better in the moment? And then not trying to chase perfect, but more so chasing done. So it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I need it done. And so
Right.
once it's done, then I can figure out how I can make it better the next time, and then make it better the next time. And so if I continue that process, the work that I'm putting out today should be horrible in comparison to the work that I'm putting out next year, because every day, every project, every case study, I'm trying to get better, because I'm literally asking, okay, how can I make this better? And then that also means leaning on people who are better than me, and finding out from them, okay, what are your thoughts? How can we make it better? So for me, learning, I learn best through actually doing the thing.
So was that a challenge when you came out of college? Because college is mostly you get teach, and then after that you do the homework and all the assignments, and they probably have at the end of your course, you probably have like a small training session, but not all courses does it. So was that a challenge when you came out of college to go into that field and actually put the knowledge into work?
Well, see, that's the thing. You gotta constantly seek knowledge, right? Like, college is only one avenue of learning and development.
Right.
Like, a lot of what I did as self-taught. I went to formal courses to learn some technical stuff that kind of helped me shortcut. But like I said, it was just brute force and repetition that I was able to learn as quickly as I did, because I was doing a lot of volume. I was doing a lot of quantity. And so even though my quality was sucky, my quantity was up. And so the question is, how much work are you actually doing? If you as a student are only using what you're getting in class and the work that you're assigned associated with that class as a means of learning, then I feel that you're at a disadvantage. For somebody like me who was self-taught, I know people who got a master's in marketing and they haven't built what I have built. Not because they aren't smart, they're very smart, but because they haven't actually been doing the thing. And so I can sit next to anybody, I can have a conversation with anybody, I can sit on and stand on any stage, because I have the experience, I've put in the reps, I've put in the time, I've failed more times than a lot of people have tried. And that's what makes me an expert in my space, because not because of something I read in the book and was able to regurgitate, but of the things that I have done and of the lessons that I've learned from the mistakes that I've made.
Mm. That's understandable. That was all my questions. Them two last questions was just a personal question.
You know, thing, man, Ebonique, I appreciate that you felt inspired to ask me stuff that wasn't on the list.
Yeah, because because of the field I in, I afraid to step into any type of workplace. Not meaning now, but meaning like when I already get the degree, because it's like I have the knowledge, but what am I supposed to do? Because I am more of a hands-on work learner. If you show me something or if I do something, you can't get me to stop doing it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it fast, and I'm going to do it with perfection. But I ain't really book smart. I all right, but book smart. And the challenge, what you say you have, I have a challenge. I read very slow, and I get irritated when I have to read. Like, it's just, I just wanted a different person's perspective of it when they come out of college and to go into the STEM and report.
Right. So for me, what I would say is there are three things, right? Show up on time, know what you're supposed to do, and have an idea. Right? Always be willing to put yourself out there. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to learn, know everything. But show up on time. Like, always when you step into the workplace, ask yourself, but also ask the people that you're working with, how can I be useful? How can I be helpful? What can I learn today? Approach it from the place that I know I don't know everything, but I want to learn as much as I can learn so that I can increase my value, so that I can be more useful to the people in the organization. If you approach it from that standpoint, Ebonique, you will be more than all right. All right?
Right. Okay.
Like, you don't have to pretend to know everything. But if you're willing to learn, and you could actually learn and learn in the way that you learn, because here's the thing, when you get into the field, when you get into the business world, it ain't no more books. And then also learn how to figure shit out by yourself. You have to learn, you have to learn how to figure things out on your own. Because in the real world, in the business world, you ain't gonna have somebody who can be able to show you over and repeatedly. And
Right.
so you have to be able to learn and figure things out on your own. So that's go get a YouTube video. That's ask ChatGPT. That's somebody draw me a picture. That's watching other people as they do it. But you have to have the ability. As somebody who's building a business, like, and I am constantly looking for good team members. The person who gets my attention the most is somebody who I don't have to show over and repeatedly how to do something, but somebody who comes in, they have an idea of how we can improve it, and then I don't have to implement it. Like, they take ownership and they make better what I've already presented. And so they don't need no bunch of supervision. They understand the vision, they understand the mission, and they figure out ways that they can actually be helpful and add value to take some of the pressure off of me. Those are the people that I value so much.
That really gave me a lot of clarity and made me feel better, because some people don't get through college, and I feel, and so far I'm making it. 1 second. One second, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.